Welcome in Craft and Design 3.0 for my dear audience. In this video, I will describe some beautiful and different ideas of plastic flower red roses for the purpose of decorating your home, decorating your house, decorating your inside of our house, outside of our house. So, dear audience, in real, a flower, sometimes known as a bloom or blossom, is a reproductive structure found in the flowering plants. Flower produced gametophytes originally, which in flower plant consist of a few haploid cells which produce gametes. So, the male gametophyte, which produce non-motile sperm, is enclosed within pollen grains. The female gametophyte is contained within the ovule. So, in other side, if we say the artificial flower, then we can say in openly mind that it is a much beneficial, like for antibacterial or for the decorating the environment of our outside and inside of our house, in our garden, or any flowers, red roses bouquet which we gave our friends in a marriage ceremony or any birthday ceremony. So if we see the functions of the flowers, the principal purpose of a flower is the reproduction of the individual and the species. All flowering plants are heterospores, that is, every individual plant produces two types of spores. Microspores are produced by meiosis inside another, and megaspores are produced inside ovules that are within an ovary. But in artificial manner, it can be a different part, like as a petal, like as a stem, and we can mix up with gums in beautiful manner and beautiful design and with the beautiful ma- functionings of flowers. So, in the majority of plant species, individual flowers have both functional carpels and stamens. Botanists describe these flowers as perfect or bisexual and the species as hermaphroditic. In a minority of plant species, their flowers lack one or the other reproductive organs and are described as imperfect or unisexual. But dear audience, in this video, I have mixed up some different colors like as a red, but a petal in green colors for beautifulness, for beauteous sights of our audience, but beauty sight of our dear friends. So its color, many flowering plants reflect as much light as possible within the range of visible wavelength of the pollinator the plant intended to attract. If we saw naturally, then I said that reflect the full range of visible light and generally perceived as white by a human observer. An important feature of white flower is that they reflect equality across the visible spectrum. But in red, I can bestly say that the red color is very much excited for our sights, for our eyes, for our excitement. So color allows flowering plants to be more specific about the pollinator streak to attract. The color model used by human color reproduction technology relies on the modulation of pigment that divide the spectrum into broad areas of absorption. Flowering plants, by contrast, are able to shift the transition point wavelength between absorption and reflection. If it is assumed that the visual system of most pollinators view the visible spectrum as circular, then it may be said that flowering plants produce color by absorbing the light in one region of the spectrum and reflecting the light in the other region. With SMYK, color is produced as a function of the amplitude of the broad region of absorption. Flowering plants, by contrast, produced color by modifying the frequency or rather wavelength of the light reflected. Most flowers absorb light in the blue to yellow region or green of the spectrum and reflect light from the green to red region of the spectrum. For many species of the flowering plants, it is the transition point that characterizes the color that they produce. Color may be modulated by shifting the transition point between absorption and reflection, and in this way, a flowering plant may specify which pollinator it seeks to attract. Some flowering plants also have a limited ability to modulate areas of absorption. This is typically not a prescribe as control over wavelength. Human observers will perceive this as degrees of saturation. So, when we talk about classical taxonomy, then in plant taxonomy, which is study of classification and identification of plants, the morphology of plants' flowers are used extensively and and have been a thousands of years, although the history of plant taxonomy extends back to the least around 300 BC. It, it is used for many symbolic conditions, like the red roses are given as symbol of love, beauties, and passion. Such poppies are a symbol of consolation in time of death. In the United Kingdom, New Zealand, Australia, and Canada, and other European countries, red poppies are worn to com- commemorate soldiers who have died in time of war. Rice's lila are used in Borealis as a symbol referring to restriction or life. It is also associated with stars, sun, and its petals blooming, shining. Daisies are a symbol of innocence because of their varied and colorful appearance. Flowers have long been a favorite subject of visual artists as well. Some of the most celebrated paintings from well known as well as virtual flowers. Some of the celebrated painting from as a flowers such as Van Gogh sunflower series or Montes flower like lily, and flowers are also dried, freeze dried, and pressed in order to create permanent three-dimensional pieces of floral art. So, dear audience, I think that my video and my idea are much beautiful and much interesting for you. If my video interesting, then like my video and subscribe my channel. Thank you very much, dear audience. Again, thank you very much.